The world's weather is always changing, but something big is on the horizon for 2025 and 2026. Scientists are closely monitoring the Pacific Ocean for signs of La Niña, a powerful climate pattern that can reshape weather across the globe. La Niña isn't just another weather event. It can bring heavy rain to some regions and drought to others. Understanding La Niña is crucial for everyone, from farmers to city dwellers. This video will break down what La Niña is, why it happens, and how it differs from its opposite, El Niño. We'll explore the specific changes the 2025-2026 La Niña could bring worldwide. Some countries may face floods, while others could endure severe droughts. These shifts impact our food, safety, and daily routines. Knowing about La Niña helps us prepare. Governments can plan, farmers can adapt, and families can stay safe. This isn't just a scientific story, it's a global one that affects us all. As we look ahead, we're not just watching tomorrow's forecast. We're preparing for a climate pattern that will shape our world for months. The name La Niña means the little girl in Spanish, but its effects are anything but small. By learning about it now, we can face the coming challenges with more knowledge and confidence. Let's dive in to understand what makes La Niña so important. The next scenes will explain how this phenomenon works and what it means for you. Let's get started. La Niña is a natural climate pattern that starts in the Pacific Ocean, the world's largest ocean. During La Niña, the eastern Pacific near South America becomes colder than usual. This cooling triggers a chain reaction, changing air pressure and strengthening trade winds that blow from east to west. These stronger winds shift where rain falls, impacting billions of people. In places like Indonesia and Australia, La Niña can bring heavy rain and floods. Meanwhile, regions like the southern US and parts of South America may face drought. La Niña's reach is global, touching every continent with different weather extremes. It usually lasts 9 to 12 months, but sometimes sticks around longer. Scientists use satellites and ocean buoys to track these changes and predict when La Niña will start and how strong it might be. This information helps communities prepare for what's coming. La Niña may start in the Pacific, but its effects are felt worldwide. Understanding it is key to adapting to its impacts. Let's see how it compares to its opposite, El Niño. To understand La Niña, we need to look at its opposite, El Niño. El Niño means the little boy in Spanish and was named by South American fishermen who noticed it around Christmas. During El Niño, the eastern Pacific warms up, flipping global weather patterns. Warm water heats the air, creating low pressure and weakening the trade winds. This shift can bring floods to normally dry places and droughts to usually wet regions. For example, Peru and California often get heavy rain, while Australia and Indonesia may face drought and wildfires. El Niño and La Niña are two sides of the same coin, together forming the El Niño Southern Oscillation, or ENSO. Between these events is a neutral phase, when Pacific temperatures are average and weather is more predictable. The world's climate constantly shifts between El Niño, La Niña, and neutral. Understanding this cycle helps scientists forecast long-term weather trends. As we move into the 2024 May 25,026 La Niña, expect a major shift in global weather. The stakes are high for communities everywhere. Now, let's see what drives La Niña's cool waters. La Niña begins with a change in the trade winds, stronger winds blowing from South America toward Asia. These winds push warm surface water west, piling it up near Indonesia and Australia. As warm water moves away from South America, cold water rises from the deep ocean, a process called upwelling. During La Niña, this upwelling intensifies, making the eastern Pacific much cooler. The cold water cools the air above, creating high pressure, while the warm western Pacific creates low pressure and rain. This pressure difference makes the trade winds blow even harder, reinforcing La Niña. The cycle can last for months, sustaining dramatic weather changes. Scientists monitor ocean temperatures, winds, and sea levels with buoys and satellites. When the eastern Pacific stays cool for several months, La Niña is declared. Early warnings help the world prepare for the impacts. The science behind La Niña is complex, but its effects are clear. Now let's look at what to expect in 2025-2026. The 2025's Batpinserv Wuridirstani Mag 2026 La Niña is expected to reshape weather worldwide. Southeast Asia, the Philippines, and Eastern Australia will likely see more rain and higher flood risks. While extra rain can help reservoirs, too much can damage homes and infrastructure. Meanwhile, the southern U.S., East Africa, and parts of South America may face drought and water shortages. Crop failures and food shortages could affect millions. Northern U.S. and Canada may get colder, snowier winters, while the southern U.S. stays milder. These shifts impact everything from heating bills to travel. La Niña can also make the Atlantic hurricane season more active. The exact impacts depend on La Niña's strength and other climate factors. Scientists will keep monitoring and updating forecasts. One thing is certain, La Niña rearranges the world's weather, creating extremes. Being aware is the first step to adapting. Next, let's see how these extremes play out across continents. In North America, La Niña splits the continent. Cold, wet winters in the north, dry, warm conditions in the south. The jet stream shifts north, letting Arctic air plunge south, bringing snow and cold to places like the Great Lakes and Pacific Northwest. Good news for ski resorts, but tough for travel and heating costs. The southern U.S. gets less rain-raising drought and wildfire risks, especially in California and Arizona. Farmers may struggle and water supplies can drop dangerously low. In South America, La Niña brings heavy rain and floods to the north, Colombia and Venezuela, while Argentina, Uruguay, and southern Brazil face drought. Floods can damage infrastructure and threaten communities, while droughts hurt crops like soy and corn. These changes ripple through economies and food supplies worldwide. La Niña's extremes are a challenge for everyone from city dwellers to farmers. The impacts are not just local, they affect global markets and food prices. Understanding these patterns helps us prepare for what's ahead. Now let's see how Asia and Australia are affected. The story continues with more water and more risks. In Asia and Australia, La Niña usually means more rain, sometimes much more. Strong trade winds push warm water west, fueling heavy rainfall and intense monsoons in Southeast Asia. Indonesia, the Philippines, and Malaysia face higher flood and landslide risks. Australia's east and north brace for wet weather, which can refill dams but also cause damaging floods. Too much rain can overwhelm rivers and threaten towns and farms. The Great Barrier Reef can suffer from runoff and pollution after heavy rains. Central Asia may see colder winters, while India could get a stronger monsoon. Good for crops, but risky if floods hit. La Niña also shifts fish populations, affecting coastal communities and fishing industries. The impacts are complex, helpful in some ways, destructive in others. For Asia and Australia, 2025-2026 will be a time to watch the skies and seas closely. Preparation is key to managing these challenges. The effects reach beyond weather, touching food and health. Let's see how La Niña shapes life in Africa and beyond. La Niña's reach extends to Africa, with big consequences. East Africa, Somalia, Ethiopia, Kenya, often faces drought, worsening water shortages and crop failures. Millions may struggle with hunger and displacement. Southern Africa, by contrast, can get too much rain, risking floods and disease outbreaks. Floods damage infrastructure and spread waterborne illnesses like cholera. La Niña's weather extremes create a continent of contrasts, drought in one region, floods in another. Globally, drought in key farming regions can drive up food prices everywhere. Families worldwide may feel the pinch at the grocery store. Health risks rise too. Floods can spread mosquito-borne diseases, while drought leads to malnutrition and poor sanitation. La Niña is more than a weather story, it's a humanitarian challenge. Planning and global cooperation are needed to protect vulnerable communities. The impacts are interconnected, affecting food, health, and economies. Next, let's talk about how you can stay safe. Preparing for La Niña starts with staying informed. Follow local news and weather alerts for updates on floods, droughts, or storms. Sign up for emergency alerts and follow official sources for the latest information. If you're in a flood-prone area, keep gutters clear and have a plan to move to higher ground. Prepare an emergency kit with water, food, a flashlight, first aid supplies, and medications. In drought-prone regions, conserve water, fix leaks, take shorter showers, and follow local restrictions. Make a family emergency plan, know where to meet, how to contact each other, and what to do in different situations. Being prepared reduces fear and helps you act quickly and safely. La Niña is powerful, but simple steps can make a big difference. Communities that plan ahead are more resilient. Stay alert, stay safe, and help others do the same. Together, we can face the challenges of La Niña with confidence. Thanks for watching. Stay prepared for the weather ahead.